My name is Lindsey McDowell and I'm playing Michelle. She is a babysitter who's kind of fast. Yeah. She's one of those girls in high school who I imagine thinks that they're a lot hotter than they actually are, and they can get away with saying stuff, and they don't really have a filter when it comes to adults, and they should. I would be lying if I said Maurice had nothing to do with it. I think Maurice is awesome. And after reading the script, I really fell in love with a lot of the characters and just the story. It reminded me of stories I used to read when I was like in middle school and high school and stuff, and you would kind of check back next week on a blog to see what else they had written and stuff, so I thought it was an awesome story. This guy who does not have his life together, he definitely has intimacy issues, and we get to see like the trials and tribulations of him trying to like navigate through girls and his own life and his friends, and just how it all impacts one person. When I first started reading the script, I remembered when I was in 4th grade, I used to sneak onto my mom's bookshelf. My mom has a lot of books, and I used to sneak and like grab books that I should not have been reading at all because I was in 3rd grade, and I would read like The Coldest Winter Ever, and I'd be like, Mom, what's this? And she'd be like, what? I'm like, they taught me in school in phonics, and she would be like, no, they didn't at all. But I think that the story reminds me of kind of like an entourage-y, Tyler Perry kind of girlfriends, but for this one guy. It's kind of like Sex in the City. Like, you know how Carrie Bradshaw, we get to see like all of her craziness and her friends through her eyes? It's kind of like we get to see Amir and all of his craziness, but through Amir's eyes. I love Michelle because I think that she's going to probably end up being one of the girls that Amir tramples on one day because she's kind of fast. In high school, I don't think that I was as fast as my characters. I would never say that kind of thing to someone who I was working for. But I can relate to feeling like, oh man, I wish that that guy had a younger brother for me. So I guess I can kind of relate to her in that aspect, but I'm just a little bit more shy. For this character, I get my inspiration just from this kind of like boldness of being a female. I think oftentimes women feel that they have to act a certain way and they won't be respected or seen as like these dainty flowers. And I think my inspiration comes from just thinking, what happens if I actually did act on my impulses? I love singing. I take singing lessons here, and I love listening to music and Adele. I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift. There's a fire that's starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sail me out and I'll lay your ship there. Definitely, I don't know her name, but the girl with dreads that totally just like Amir gets kind of butthurt over. Because I think it was funny that he's playing with all these women's hearts, and then there's this one girl who's actually not invested and is kind of playing the field like he's playing the field, and he's just like, oh man, that might be the one. My dad's a chef, so I cook sometimes, and it's not, my mom like never let me cook when I was back home. She was like, you're gonna burn down the house, don't do it. But now that I'm here in LA and living on my own, I throw down in the kitchen. It's so much fun. I actually hate Amir. I just think that Amir is low down and dirty. I actually hate Amir. He just needs to get shot.